Today on the Topping Show, Bud Light's first non-free beer tweet is roasted, Miss Universe files for bankruptcy, Disney stock is being bought by another activist investor, DeSantis reacts to Tim Scott dropping out the presidential race, Chris Christie claims that Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis are running for second place, and Trump is scared of Chris Christie. Microsoft launches AI chips to combat Nvidia, Chuck E. Cheese is removing the beloved animatronics from all but one store, and wanna ban applesauce pouches with lead contaminants now reach a total of 22 victims. All of that and much more on The Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of Topping Show is sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner and need a little assistance, you can reach the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of November. So if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Microsoft launching AI chips to take on the 500-pound gorilla that is Nvidia. Now, Microsoft historically has been one of the most profitable, successful software manufacturers since the dawn of time. Pretty much every business relies on Microsoft for at least one app or another. Famously, you have Microsoft Teams, you have Microsoft Office Suite, email, Outlook, the whole XY Banana Falcon. They have a whole ecosystem. And a couple years ago, it was highly controversial for one of the very first times. Well, they attempted phones as a business blunder for another time to talk about, but they actually got into PCs, where historically, all the PCs you see, the personal computers, they're all manufactured by the traditional companies such as Hewlett Packard, you had Dell, you have Lenovo, and at one time, in brief history, you actually had Compaq back in the day, the OG laptop, and also their ones inside the suitcase. But nevertheless, you had all those traditional hardware manufacturers, and you had Microsoft OS and Microsoft Software Suite thrown on top of the hardware. Now, in terms of graphical chips and AI chips, I mean, Nvidia is the 500-pound gorilla in the room, and no one wanted to take them on for the longest time because they have such a huge leap on the competition. And every time there's a trend in technology, they seem to benefit exponentially, which is one of the reasons why Nvidia, their share is above $400 per share. I mean, their stock has been doing better than I could possibly fathom. I spoke too soon. It's $492.30 for a single share of Nvidia stock, with a market cap of $1.22 trillion. I mean, their 5-year stock trend for Nvidia is up 1,097.33%, which is unfathomably successful. I mean, even just in the past year, they're up 209%. Year to date, they're up 243%. In just the past 6 months, it's up 63%. Granted, their dividend yield is a little disappointing. It looks like it's 0.033, but nevertheless, they're at near $500 per share, and a lot of analysts are saying they could reach $600 per share. And it's partially because they have such a huge market dominance in that IT area. I mean, if you ever built my podcast editing PC, I built that from the ground up, or more accurately, my team and I built it. And for the graphics card, we chose a NVIDIA designed, I believe it's a 3080 Ti, manufactured by Gigabyte. So even NVIDIA actually licensed some of their designs to third-party manufacturers. In that case, Gigabyte was the manufacturer that actually produced the hardware, but they licensed it as well. Now, the AI chips, that is, first, I mean, NVIDIA grew to prominence, especially with the Bitcoin boom, where everyone was trying to build their own mining rigs. And recently, one of the biggest developments in IT, and probably in our lifetimes, will be the development and proliferation of AI technologies. And since that's going to be a whole new technology, we're going to need new hardware to accompany it and actually propel it. One of the reasons Bitcoin wasn't that efficient when it was first hitting the market in terms of mining it is that you're using off-the-shelf graphics cards. And eventually, NVIDIA made ones specifically designed for mining Bitcoin. Now, this comes from us thanks to a website by the name of The Verge. And this is a specific writer by the name of Tom Warren. And he noted he is a senior editor covering Microsoft in a myriad of the applications from PC gaming to console tech. And it looks like Microsoft is going to debut the Azure Maya 100 and Cobalt 100 chips. And I'd say B plus for marketing. It's at least unique. In some cases, you just have rudimentary or boring names that like numbers, historically BMW. But nevertheless, I like it when they at least try to have something unique that's moderately memorable. And in this case, the Maya and the Cobalt, well, Cobalt's actually pretty apt because they probably use some cobalt that's also in all batteries that we use basically as well. Now, they noted that these will be the first two custom silicon chips designed by Microsoft for its cloud infrastructure. This is Microsoft. I believe they already have a beta version for their AI integration and their capabilities, and they'll still be rolling out in masses. And that has a promise to be revolutionary. Now, it'll be interesting to see. They noted one of the reasons they're doing this was so that they could not just train their language models, but also to potentially avoid the costly reliance on Nvidia. Because, of course, Nvidia ain't cheap. It's a premium product. It's pretty much the standard if you want a high-end editing PC or a myriad of applications, but it's a pretty reputable brand and they make a phenomenally successful product. And my 3 cents, I think, is pretty unique and amazing that the founder is still in charge of the company and he's helped grow it so exponentially and helped it be so successful. Now, they also noted that Microsoft's Azure Maya AI chip and ARM-powered Azure Cobalt CPU are arriving in 2024, which, again, that is right around the corner. I can't help but think they probably already had the foundries and a lot of the logistics taken care of if the announcement is seen in the news right now. And this is on back of the surge in demand this year for the NVIDIA's H100 GPUs that were widely used to train and operate generative AI tools and large language models. There's a demand. They claim there's such a high demand for these GPUs that some have fetched as much as $40,000 on eBay. That really? I guess, yeah. That was according to CNBC. They covered that article. Some of those cards went for $40,000. And that's for specifically the NVIDIA H100 processors that were also utilized by a lot of companies for 3D gaming, Pioneer. Let's see, at least 8 were listed. Well, they're listed. Are they selling for? Because again, you could ask for anything on eBay. There are people asking $7,500 to $20,000 for the blockbuster sign you see behind me. Obviously, I didn't pay that much because you have to kind of remind them when they say it's rare. Well, there's 9 of them on the same page of search results. And by the way, there's 9,000 locations at their peak in terms of Blockbuster. Truth be told, I got mine for significantly discount. All I had to do was replace the bulbs in it and drive to, what was it, Texarkana? Fun little day tripper. But nevertheless, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, you get to a certain cost point as a business and a size as a business, just them using this internally for their own benefit, that's going to be a huge cost savings over NVIDIA, as well as being able to make the chips exactly operate to optimize with their software. You see this results with Apple as well. As Apple started to make their own processors, well, since Apple's making the software as well as the hardware, they can make it even more optimal because they're controlling more of the ecosystem. They're designing it exactly which will benefit their program the best. They don't have to necessarily care about making something that will actually be designed for the mass market to help the best people. They can make it optimal for their very specific or more specific use case. So again, these are going to be some revolutionary chips. It'll be interesting to see if the consumers, again, most people will never need this, though the nerd in me would love to get my hands on one of them. It'd be fascinating to see. They note that the Maya will have 105 billion transistors, or around 30% fewer than the 165 billion found on AMD's own NVIDIA competitor, the M1, oh, it's like the Terminator, the MI300X AI GPU. It'll be interesting to see. Maya is the first complete They know that Maya is the first complete liquid-cooled server processor built by Microsoft. Interesting enough, Microsoft, well, I guess for their own internal uses, they build their own servers, but traditional server manufacturer, the big three are usually Dell EMC, you got Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, then you have Lenovo if you're looking for like a rack mount PC. Or off-brand, they also have a brand that's called Super Micro. So it'll be interesting to see how this affects the market and how much more optimal they can make their data centers and make their applications as they continue to control more and more of their processes and components. It'll be fascinating to see where they go from here. Thank you everyone again for taking the time to tune in today, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of November. So if you click that button, I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, any comments are greatly appreciated. I'm always looking for a critique, even if it's harsh, so I know how to grow and develop, make the channel better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.